All right, nerds, we are apparently only getting one reaction in with this batch as well. That being said, it is Paleface Swiss, so hopefully it's going to be a good one. I mean, let's get some things out of the way real quick. That being one, and then the other being obviously I am still sick, hence no front-facing light, so you can't see my face as well as maybe normal. It's much more dramatic lighting. Makes me look less sick this way, so that's what we're doing. Also, figured out the situation with the guitar, so I now have guitar should the occasion arise that we need it to illustrate points, or I just want to noodle with it along with the song. And yeah, that's kind of leading up to hopefully we'll have a stream this week, whatever. Let's talk about the song, shall we? So Paleface Swiss, Love Hurts. The first thing we do on these is history of the band, or the act or whatever. And it's really not proper history. It's just a real quick blurb from Wikipedia. Paleface Swiss is a Swiss deathcore band formed in 2017 in Zurich. Band's lineup currently consists of vocalist Mark Zelly Zellweger, guitarist Yannick Lehmann, bassist Tommy Lee, and drummer Cassiano Cassi Toma. The band released 3 studio albums, their latest being Cursed, released January 3rd of 2025 through Blood Blast Distribution. So that is the real quick TLDR of who Paleface Swiss is. Kind of what put them on my radar to do this, because I've heard the name for some time, obviously, but never really listened to them for whatever reason. They just didn't really set any alarms off on the radar, so I didn't really spend any time on them. But then I was doing some quasi-research, more just wasting time watching videos on YouTube of the and I came across a video that was the top 10 deathcore bands of 2024 according to Spotify's numbers, and Paleface Swiss came in second. They came in behind I think Lorna Shore was third, and Slaughter to Prevail was first. I could have those two backwards, but it was definitely Paleface Swiss that split them up, because I thought it was going to be Lorna Shore and Slaughter to Prevail were going to be the top 2 spots, but they were not. This band was. So I listened to some of their older stuff at that point and was like, okay, I can kind of see it. They have a different the whole time I've talked about deathcore, I've kind of painted it in this one camp or the other. Slaughter to Prevail camp is kind of hitting a nail with a sledgehammer kind of deathcore, where it's more blunt force trauma, whereas the Lorna Shore style of deathcore is more blackened, and there's a lot more finesse and a lot more orchestration going on. Not to say that either of those is bad. I'm a big fan of both of those bands. I've seen them both live a number of times at this point. So not necessarily saying that either of those approaches to the genre is bad. It just seems that generally speaking, there are 2 camps, and those are the 2 camps. A lot of the lesser known bands in the genre tend to follow one of those 2 options. Whitechapel, I would put in the same side as Lorna Shore. They have that kind of blackened, not quite as much of on the blackened side of things, but they definitely have that orchestration feel. They're definitely that kind of layering. And obviously, because they have 3 guitar players. I haven't listened to the new Whitechapel single. I'm told it is pretty sick, but that is not what we're doing today. We're doing Paleface Swiss. So Paleface Swiss, from my experience with them, is not really in either of those 2 groups. They're more in a group unto themselves that has this like almost nu metal feel, where there's a lot more rhythmic guitar and a lot less on the intricacies, but they still have the telltale, solo crazy speed licks and all that stuff, and obviously the crazy breakdowns. But vocally, there's even a little bit more of a nu metal kind of feel, because it almost feels like he's rhyming, like he's rapping a little bit from time to time. Again, from the limited amount that I listened to their back catalog, and honestly from their new single Hatred. I think Hatred is actually newer than this, but I've heard, like I said, heard Hatred a number of times on the radio at this point. So that being said, let's get into expectations. Expectations for a song called Love Burns from the band of Paleface Swiss. Wow, brain fart. So I do expect it to be... It's going to be a little bit different than probably Hatred, because obviously title-wise they're a very different territory. But I think that this is probably going to be more on the side of the Lorna Shore camp, more of the layered, orchestrated kind of stuff as far as the song arrangement and everything goes. Lyrically, I'm very interested, and vocally more specifically, very interested to see where they go, because if it's going to be something like a Love Lost kind of song, like, that's usually not something overly rappy when it comes to metal stuff. Even nu metal bands, like when they're singing about that kind of stuff, less on the rap side. But I mean, every band is unique unto themselves. That's why I hate subgenres. But yeah, so expectations. As far as the video goes, I don't know. I have no expectations for the video. I expect there to be performance sections of the video, but beyond that, as far as like any narrative, I really have no expectations. So let's do one more thing before we get... No, we're going to skip that just because I really need to redo the explanation of who I am and what I do. Come here! Is that right? That's right. Okay. So, I don't know why we went with the Scorpion transition, but we did. So before we do get into this, there is a little bit of information. I've been doing this for a long time professionally. I have performed on stage professionally. I have recorded bands professionally. I've done this. I've been in some form of music, be it for school productions or for professional productions or my own productions, for over 20, 25, 30 years at this point. So I know generally what I'm talking about. Yes, I might not be as up to date on all of the procedures and methods and everything as some are, because they're much more active in the scene, but I am active enough. So that being said, I do have credentials. So if you want to talk to me about any of my critical analysis of this, then by all means, please. But that being said, let's get into the damn thing, right? We're, what, 7-8 minutes into this already, and I haven't even started playing the video. Somebody's going to be really mad in the comments. All right, so let's go Paleface Swiss. Act 2, huh? All right, so we already got some of that Slipknot feel. That trash can ringing on the snare drum is very indicative of especially early Slipknot. Off that self-titled, Joey just had this crazy snare that, even though it was a closed snare, because when we were kids and we were trying to reproduce that sound, we always just opened the snare up because that was the closest. But the snare, the springs on that snare were just so loose or something crazy. And he had it tuned in such a way that it just rang out like a freaking trash can. So that's kind of what I mean by that Slipknot style of nu metal. I hate to put Slipknot into nu metal, but that's apparently where they're classified. Sound. vocally already diving into those extreme Corey styles too. So yeah, I definitely, maybe I'm the only one, but I definitely see a lot of Slipknot in Paleface Swiss, and that is definitely not a bad thing. So let's continue.
Poisonous, not so obvious, it's ruinous. Now a number, a memory alive, like a way deep into the back of my mind.
Straight blasty right there.
Okay, so one, so wonderful, so beautiful, so utterly free, because so was
and they're definitely tuned down. Let's probably to A. I would say probably drop A. Ooh, A flat even. Yeah, A flat. I'm honestly very freaking surprised that I have not listened to more Paleface Swiss because of all of these similarities. Like, they are they're a more extreme version of Slipknot in my ears a lot of the time. They don't have quite the same dynamic range as far as their performances go, because they don't really go down into the more subtle performance. It's always extreme and balls out and in your face, but yeah, feels very much like Slipknot's younger brother, much less than Vended even does, and they're legitimately Slipknot's kids. So yeah, I really dig these guys. Oh! So yeah, let me draw a little bit more of a distinction into this third the delineation of deathcore, shall we? Because this is not. It's kind of splitting the difference between the two. It's kind of the blunt force trauma meets the orchestration of the blackened elements, but without the blackened elements, and still kind of heavier on the blunt force trauma. It's just they have more finesse, I feel like. As Slaughter to Prevail has evolved, they've become much more groove oriented, which I'm digging that these guys are too. They're less, they lean less on the technical side of things and more on the sheer speed of things. And these guys are still holding up the technical aspects without going overly into the orchestration and stuff. I really, really dig this sound, man. I can't. There's nothing really to speak of. Oh, I do keep getting weird Mickey Milkovich vibes. For anyone who's watched Shameless, Mickey Milkovich, the vocalist, kind of reminds me of Mickey. I can't exactly place why, but that's just the vibe I keep getting from him. I'm really, really digging everything that's going on here. I can't really be critical of anything right now. We even have a dynamic shift here. Look at this. Neither camp, neither deathcore camp will have a bridge like this. Yes, I know that Alex Terrible can sing like this and does to a degree on Slaughter songs, but the instrumentation does not also take a dive like this dynamically. And then you go over to the Lorna Shore side of things, and Lorna Shore, the band, minus Will, has made the explicit statement that they will never have vocals like this on their music. Some of the lesser-known bands that follow the Lorna Shore side of things do also have a similar vocal delivery, but the instruments, brain farts. The instruments don't take this kind of dynamic dive when the vocalist does things like this. It will be a different dynamic dive. It'll still be very intense, but it'll be much more rhythmic. It'll be more to that effect, while the second guitar is behind him going, and then the bass is that kind of thing. This is much more drawn out and dynamic. And if there's anything I really love in my extreme music, it is dynamics to keep you interested and to stop you from falling asleep while listening. And then we build into that more it's a dynamic draw up, and I mean that's not the exact terminology for it, but again, sick brain can't think of words, so sick brain no do words. But we still have this. I'm definitely not in the same key, so don't give me shit for that. I realize this, but and then you have this. The second guitar was doing something similar behind him, and then they started building instead of just automatic. Instead of just going straight into the speed, we're building back to the speed. And I think that is the much better way to do dynamics in extreme music. I wasn't even doing the same chord progression, but still. There we go. And now we've got that double bass. But we still have that lead, whatever the hell he's doing. Whatever the hell he was doing with the lead, you still have that in the mix, even though it's slowly dying and the other guitar parts coming back more into the front because we're about to go fast again. Like, you still have that tap. You still have that tap happening, and so it's the all of these things are interweaving, and it's just really freaking cool, man. Oh, maybe we're not about to go fast. Oh yeah, that's the end of it. Ha! Still. Really freaking cool. Yeah, that's Paleface Swiss. Let's go back to the fancy camera. Before we get into anything else, I want to take this moment and say thank you very much to channel partner Dubby. Dubby.gg is the website. Code Generally Nerdy at checkout is what's going to get you 10% off of your purchase. Go check out dubby.gg for your energy drink needs, also for your rehydration needs. They have stuff without caffeine, without any of the energy stuff, just for rehydration. If you're out playing basketball or you're out doing something extreme, or you need something that isn't going to dehydrate you more like caffeine, you just need some rehydration, they have that as well. So go check out w.gg, use code generally nerdy at checkout to get your 10% off, and they give me a little bit of a kickback, they give you a little bit of a kickback. It's pretty awesome. So thank you very much to W. All right, now that we've got that done, let's get to our final thought. Final verdict for Paleface Swiss. I said it a number of times. This is pretty freaking cool, man. Like, I really, really dig it. The more I hear of these guys, especially the more of their recent material I hear of these guys, I think they are absolutely worth your time. And I fully understand why they were second in 2024 as far as deathcore bands are concerned, because they're really damn good. They are so damn good, in fact, that they didn't need stupid American radio, be it Sirius or otherwise. They didn't need stupid American radio to get them to the point that they are. They're just good enough to get there on by themselves. Because like I said, I hadn't heard them on Sirius XM until recently, until the release of this new record, the build up into this new record anyway, because they had 2 singles, Hatred being the second one. I did not hear the first one. This very well could have been the first one, but I didn't hear it on Sirius. I just know there was another single that was being played a couple months back. This is from December, by the way. Anyway, that is Final Verdict. Go check them out if you're into the extreme stuff. If you're into deathcore, this is a band that you should absolutely put on your regular rotation. Go check out a Spotify playlist. I want to react to the new Whitechapel single, but I also just want to listen to the new Whitechapel single because everything I've heard about it is just freaking fantastic. So maybe we'll do that, but I doubt it. Honestly, our next reaction is going to be a little bit different because it's probably going to be another rap song, but it's a different kind of rap song. So there's that. Thank you very much, nerds. That is where we're going to kill this reaction. We will see you in the next one. Hopefully there will be a stream next week, depending on many factors. That being said, I appreciate your faces. We'll see you in the next one. Before we go, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.